It's the 29th day of January 2026, a month that started in high gear and is ending in high gear with the release of the primary leaving examinations tomorrow, 30th January 2026. Now it's about 23 minutes on to 7 a.m. in Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania, East African time. Good morning, Uganda. On UBC TV, we come to you live from the Nile Avenue, and the A-team is already set to make sure that we kickstart your morning with high energy Uganda coffee and, of course, celebrating the gift of life as it is for God and my country, thanking God for Uganda and the gift of being Ugandan. My name is Julie F. Nantaba with Robert Chirabo Nyonyintono and John Murunji. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Very well, thank you. What have you been looking at?
A lot has transpired, but first, good morning, our viewers. It is one from the Ministry of Agriculture that actually sponsors Good Morning Uganda. It is in our nature to drink Ugandan coffee. And now the Minister of State for Animal Husbandry, Bright Ramirama, as he appeared before Parliament's Committee on Agriculture to represent the Ministry's 2026-2027 National Budget Framework Paper, revealed that the Ministry is seeking for 17 billion Uganda shillings to establish and renovate piggery and chicken breeding infrastructure on the government ranches in a move geared towards increasing pork and chicken production in Uganda. And the minister further stated that the Ministry of Agriculture efforts will be establishing livestock breeding, paddocks, spray races, intensive direct control, sheds, valley tanks, among others. The sum we are looking at here is 17 billion Uganda shillings. Now, my neighbor here on the right, Robert, is so excited. I don't know if it's about the chicken or the pork.
It's about the pork. I mean, Uganda consumes pork, and I think it's one of the sectors that need to be studied when it comes to Uganda's economy, because Ugandans really love pork.
Yes, Julie and Robert, just so we really love pork.
No. It's a fact. Ugandans love pork. Okay. Those who don't consume it, for the most part, it's because of course, of religious reasons. Yeah. Yes. Okay. But other than that, hey. Have you visited pork joints in Uganda? Whichever form or shape they look like, you'll find that even all the peconis that we call them packed, even if it looks like a shark.
Really? With uncoordinated tiles and everything, however shabby it may look.
I wonder why pork joints also look like that for the most part, but anyways. That's a story for another day, but for someone who loves it the most on set here, his smile tells it all. But Robert, good morning. And what are you looking at?
I want to put a disclaimer.
That you don't love it?
I don't love pork.
Wow, lies.
Father, mother, die, Robert.
I don't eat pork.
You don't even know it?
Lies.
My wife is watching, so I don't eat pork.
Are you not eating it right now, or just?
I distance myself from anything to do with the pork.
Oh.
Do you know why?
I commend Ugandans that eat pork first, because they give monies to the farmers. It's one of the most growing meat being eaten in Uganda. It is only pork that has a specific day on the calendar.
Pork day.
When it is eaten.
In Uganda?
Yes, a specific day around Christmas there. That day, so pork is unique.
How do you know all these things when you don't eat?
Well, journalistically, I have to have a lot of information on
allow me, name and shame Robert here on camera. Robert is always recommending pork joints to me.
Oh my God.
Of which pork joint has the best pork? But aside the pork, aside the pork, let's focus on matters.
I'll leave the pork.
Yes.
But you see, when you disclose some information you're not supposed to disclose, Dr. Sarah Birete got bail yesterday.
Yeah.
She was out at a the sureties each, non-cash bail at 10 million.
Yeah.
Then her 1 million. But it has something to what Julia has just said. You have information, you shouldn't disclose it, then you end up disclosing it, and you see.
It works against you.
So she was out. Of course, it has been a long struggle, most of for the human rights advocates, civil society organizations regarding her, but she's now out and she's enjoying her temporary freedom, because being out does not mean the case has come to an end.
Yeah.
But also still in court. Now, interesting here, the man was serious, Robert Kasibante. And yesterday we saw the Supreme Court begin the process into this case. Where it will end, we don't know. But one of the things he wants President Museveni and his legal team to produce, one is all areas where elections were held. He wants the court to compel President Museveni to bring all declaration forms.
From the over 50,000 something.
Yes, well, as long as elections were held there, produce these declaration forms to show that, yes, those are the votes that came from that polling station. Then also give us the polling stations.
The names.
Yes, that at polling station, this is what the results were there. Because this is a matter in court, though the hearing has not yet started. But he said he had a talent center in South Africa, in Johannesburg, South Africa. He and his team, Robert Kasibante, that put him third. Now he doesn't know how he came sixth. So elections were held in Uganda, tallying was done in South Africa.
And I watched his lawyer also say that the fact that results were being transmitted electronically to the National Tally Center, that is against the law, and it's something that should be looked into, because the law was abused by electronically having to transmit results from polling stations to the National Tally Center.
The law is very interesting because where you think you're right, someone picks an... I always ask myself, because even the best lawyers sometimes are defeated.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself, yet they have the facts. Someone picks on something very tiny.
And it becomes
an issue, and it becomes significant. We saw how people were in the mayor race for Machindi. Fell out on something you would think it is not that well. When we look critically, the law requires that you get voters in that particular area to give you their signatures, not just anyone with a national ID. And I think there were 11 that were thrown out.
Yeah.
And now we have a mayor who went through and opposed in Machindi. So anything in law, to me, I have come to believe that you can never be sure you will win.
Right.
Indeed.
The law is a very interesting field, and yet it governs the land at the end of the day. Now, at this point, let's dive deep into all the updates that we have for you this morning. And of course, we're starting off from the local scene here in Uganda.
Well, 9 justices of the Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice Dr. Flavian Zeija, are presiding over the presidential election petition filed by Robert Kasibante. Other justices on the panel include Pelsi Knight Tuhaise, Mike Chipita, Elizabeth Musoke, Stephen Musota, Christopher Madrama, Monica Mujenyi, Catherine Bamugemeleire, and Muzamiru Mutangula Kibedi. Kasibante, through his legal team, had earlier asked court to allow him amend an application seeking permission to discover evidence from the Electoral Commission, President Yoweri Museveni, and the Attorney General, which he said is necessary to support his petition. However, court ruled that due to the strict timelines governing the hearing of presidential petitions, allowing the amendments would delay the process, and the application was currently dismissed. In the proposed amendments, Kasibante sought orders compelling the Electoral Commission and President Museveni to disclose key electoral documents and grant access to electronic voting and tallying systems used during the election. He further wants court to order President Museveni to make discovery on oath of all documents in his possession relating to the election, including a complete list of all polling stations and certified copies of declaration of results forms from every polling station. Kasibante also sought access to the back-end infrastructure of the biometric voter verification system, the electronic results transmission and dissemination system, and the tallying system used by the Electoral Commission at the National Tally Center in Luwowa. After a brief adjournment of 10 minutes, court directed the parties to hold a conference and agree on a joint schedule memorandum. Court further directed that the agreed joint scheduled memorandum be submitted by Friday this week, and that parties return to court on the 3rd of February this very year for confirmation. Court also indicated that on the 3rd of February this very year, it will set the hearing date for the main petition. The Executive Director of Center for Constitutional Governance yesterday appeared at Uganda Road Magistrate Court to hear her bail ruling. At the Uganda Road Court, Chief Magistrate Winnie Nyancha Jakito said Dr. Sarah Birete faces one count of unlawful obtaining or disclosure of personal data, contrary to Section 35(1) and 2 of the Data Protection and Privacy Act, Cap 97. In delivering her ruling, Magistrate Winnie ordered the release of Dr. Birete on bail for 1 million shilling cash and non-cash sureties of 10 million shillings, citing substantial sureties she presented to court. Birete, who expressed joy after being granted bail, was, however, given stringent bail conditions, including the requirement to deposit her passport with court. Court also ordered the prosecution to disclose all its intended evidence against Birete to her lawyers to enable her adequately prepare her defense. Dr. Sarah Birete was ordered to return to court on the 27th of February this very year for the hearing of her case. In the case against Birete, the prosecution alleges that she and others still at large between January 2025 and December 2025 at various places within Uganda, including Kampala, Mukono, and Wakiso district, unlawfully obtained or disclosed personal data, namely national voters' information, contrarily or not in conformation with the Electoral Commission, without prior consent of the Commission. The NRM Central Executive Committee has moved early to endorse Speaker Annette Among and her Deputy Thomas Tayebwa for the leadership of the 12th Parliament. The party insiders and analysts said that the move is aimed at preventing internal divisions and avoiding a repeat of the incidences that happened in 2021 speakership contest that nearly split the ruling party. With reports that senior party loyalists and government officials were eyeing the same position, questions remain: is the early endorsement about stability or control? For the NRM Central Executive Committee, Anita Among and Thomas Tayebwa are the preferred candidates for the Speaker and Deputy Speaker. The endorsement has effectively shut down internal competition before it could take place. This follows reports that Lydia Wanyoto, Oboth, and Norbert Mao had been mentioned as possible contenders. Analysts said the party acted swiftly to avoid a repeat of 2021, when then Speaker Rebecca Kadaga lost to the late Jacob Olanya in a contest that exposed deep divisions within NRM. At that time, President Museveni intervened, personally calling NRM MPs to back Olanya, the party's flag bearer, on a move that secured victory but left political scars. This time, the party appears determined not to let history repeat itself. Political analysts and newly elected NRM MPs of Bugweri County, Dr. Patrick Wakida, said the endorsement sends a clear message of direction and discipline. Finally, from the local scene, the Executive Director of Kampala Capital City Authority, Sharifa Buzeki, has carried out an inspection on the ongoing road construction works in the city, expressing concern over delays, poor drainage and sanitation challenges affecting several areas in the Central Division. The KCCA inspection of roads in Central Division began at Lower Kororo Terrace Road, where split laying is currently underway. The Executive Director later moved with a team of engineers and contractors to inspect works on Eriasing Koyoyo Road, Church Road, Church Lane, and Nava Road. Several of the inspected areas were found to be in poor condition, with open culverts, blocked drainage channels, open sewer, and unbearable stench. The situation has been worsened by delays in construction works, which have left roads exposed and vulnerable to dirty and debris. Uncontrolled dumping of rubbish by residents has further compounded the problem, with waste flowing freely on the unfinished roads due to poor drainage. Dot Service Limited, the project contractors, were seen being questioned by the Executive Director, who appeared dissatisfied with the work done. KCCA urged residents to exercise maximum patience as they are working on several roads at the time. Other roads inspected include Mpelere Road and Kabaka's Lake area, are part of a wider 14.6 kilometer road construction and upgrade project being implemented by KCCA. Now that brings us to the end of our local stories this morning.
Indeed.
The lady in red seems prepared to fly us to the rest of the world.
You know, Robert, you're supposed to refer to me as our international reporter, not just the lady in red.
Best in Uganda.
Right,
Please
let's
continue.
quickly have a look at what we have on the foreign scene.
And of course, so we are beginning off with a warning from the U.S. President, that is Donald Trump, who has warned Iran that time is running out to negotiate a deal on its nuclear program following the steady buildup of U.S. military forces in the Gulf. The U.S. president said a massive armada was moving quickly with great power, enthusiasm, and purpose towards Iran, referring to a large U.S. naval fleet. In response, Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said the country's armed forces were ready with their fingers on the trigger to immediately and powerfully respond to any aggression by land or sea. Iran insists its nuclear program is entirely peaceful and has repeatedly denied accusations by the U.S. and its allies that it is seeking to develop nuclear weapons. Trump's latest warning follows his promise that Washington will intervene to help those involved in the brutal and unprecedented crackdown on protests in the country earlier this month. Demonstrations began after a sharp fall in the value of Iranian currency, but swiftly evolved into a crisis of legitimacy for the country's direct leadership. Help is on the way, Trump said, before later changing his tune and saying he had been told on good authority that the execution of demonstrators had stopped. Now, the U.S.-based human rights activist news agency says it has confirmed the killing of more than 6,301 people, including 5,925 protesters, since the unrest began at the end of December. Moving on, protesters clashed with state troopers on Wednesday outside a Texas detention center, where a preschooler and his father are being held after immigration officers took them into custody in Minnesota last week. ICE officers first detained 5-year-old Leanne Ramos and his father, Adrian Alexander Conejo Arias, in Minneapolis on 20th January before the two were relocated to the Dilley, Texas facility. Several lawmakers also visited the facility on Wednesday, speaking out against the father and son's detention and urging the Trump administration to release them. The Department of Homeland Security has said the pair entered the U.S. illegally, while a lawyer for the family said they followed proper protocols to seek asylum. Community organizers, unions, and faith leaders from across Texas marched to the facility after holding a vigil nearby to amplify the voices and protests of children and families held in detention against their will, the organizers said in a press release. Outside the Texas facility, a clip from CNN shows officers holding a line against protesters, and one officer can be seen throwing something into the crowd, after which a thump is heard. Protesters are seen yelling, blowing whistles, and honking. And coming back to the continent of Africa, that is the land of 1,000 hills, the Rwandan government is claiming it is owed 100 million euros by the UK over payments due under an asylum agreement cancelled by Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. Rwanda has filed an international arbitration case arguing the UK has breached the terms of the deal to send some asylum seekers to the East African nation. Under the deal, which was signed by the previous Conservative government, the UK agreed to make payments to Rwanda to host asylum seekers who had arrived illegally in Britain. In a statement, Rwanda's government said it had decided to pursue claims in arbitration after facing the UK's intransigence on these issues. A Home Office spokesperson said the previous government's Rwanda policy wasted vast sums of taxpayer time and money. The Rwandan government's statement said it was making 3 claims in relation to the Migration and Economic Development Partnership, which was signed in 2022 when Boris Johnson was Prime Minister. The statement accuses the UK of breaching the deal by setting out the financial terms of the agreement publicly, failing to make payments totaling 100 million euro, and refusing to make arrangements to resettle vulnerable refugees from Rwanda. And of course, that brings us to a close of international coverage.
Right, a quick look at what we have in the dailies, starting off with a new vision on their Army Youth MPs. Those who are to represent those special interest groups are displayed there in the new vision. Also, elections, Ngopek defeats Amin's grandson, and education PLA results to be released tomorrow. And Mayor arrests list of winners on the inside, over 160 tender opportunities in there. And Speaker race Bariomonsi challenges among Tayewa's SEC endorsement. Now, looking at the rest of East Africa, going into the citizen in Tanzania, inside the U.S. review of Tanzania relations. And Tanzania could gain 18 billion from renewables by 2030. Also, how Premier League local content are setting pay TV firms apart. And MV Mwanza's role in boosting economic drive in East Africa. NMB posts 1 trillion pre-tax profit, plans digital push and renewal growth. Now, looking at the Daily Nation in Kenya, united in impunity. That's the headline in the Daily Nation. Also, Ogamba Duale under fire over school's SHA crisis. And Mbarire diverted 10 million to Kindiki political event. And more stories from the Daily Nation and in Kenya. All of those dailies have more of those stories. You can get yourself copies.
Story of the day.
Yes.
Yes.
The endorsement of the speaker.
You see, learning from your past is the best thing, and I must say NRM is very, very smart because people had begun warming up.
I know. Anyways, in the interest of time, let's have a short break, and when we get back, we'll be talking about the opening of schools whose date was changed to the 10th of February. What does that mean? 0709-602592 is the WhatsApp number that you should save and be part of the conversation. Speaking of which, Robert, just a thought to live with you guys. I imagine Honorable Mao as the Speaker of Parliament, leaving it at that. Soko Munonye by Diplock Segawa.
Live from UBC Studios in
It's the 29th day of January 2026, a month that started in high gear and is ending in high gear with the release of the primary leaving examinations tomorrow, 30th January 2026. Now it's about 23 minutes on to 7 a.m. in Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania, East African time. Good morning, Uganda. On UBC TV, we come to you live from the Nile Avenue, and the A-team is already set to make sure that we kickstart your morning with high energy Uganda coffee and, of course, celebrating the gift of life as it is for God and my country, thanking God for Uganda and the gift of being Ugandan. My name is Julie F. Nantaba with Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono and John Murunji. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Julie. How are you?
Very well, thank you. What have you been looking at?
A lot has transpired, but first, good morning, our viewers. It is one from the Ministry of Agriculture that actually sponsors Good Morning Uganda. It is in our nature to drink Ugandan coffee. And now the Minister of State for Animal Husbandry, Bright Ramirama, as he appeared before Parliament's Committee on Agriculture to represent the Ministry's 2026-2027 National Budget Framework Paper, revealed that the Ministry is seeking for 17 billion Uganda shillings to establish and renovate piggery and chicken breeding infrastructure on the government ranches in a move geared towards increasing pork and chicken production in Uganda. And the minister further stated that the Ministry of Agriculture efforts will be establishing livestock breeding, paddocks, spray races, intensive direct control, sheds, valley tanks, among others. The sum we are looking at here is 17 billion Uganda shillings. Now, my neighbor here on the right, Robert, is so excited. I don't know if it's about the chicken or the pork.
It's about the pork. I mean, Uganda consumes pork, and I think it's one of the sectors that need to be studied. Studied when it comes to Uganda's economy, because Ugandans really love pork.
Just Julie and Robert, just so we really love pork.
No. It's a fact. Ugandans love pork.
Okay.
Those who don't consume it, for the most part, it's because of course, of religious reasons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But other than that, hey. Have you visited pork joints in Uganda? Whichever form or shape they look like, you'll find that even all the peconis that we call them packed, even if it looks like a shack.
Really, with uncoordinated tiles and everything, however shabby it may look.
I wonder why pork joints also look like that for the most part. But anyways, that's a story for another day. But for someone who loves it the most on set here, his smile tells it all. But Robert, good morning. And what are you looking at?
I want to put a disclaimer.
That you don't love it?
I don't love pork.
Wow, lies.
Father, mother, die, Robert.
I don't eat pork.
You don't eat.
Star 21 hash and select daily or use the MyMGN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Genshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, Take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
My question is, what is the difference between rental tax and income tax? How comes I'm paying both taxes on my own premises? If you want to have a tin, but you are not making any income from your business, you should take on the obligation to continue filing your nil return.
Commissioner General, to invest in taxation, when people understand taxes and they know the importance of taxes and they know the fair assessment of these taxes they're supposed to pay, I think everybody will embrace taxation.
As banning groupage cargo, clearance protects small traders who cannot afford to import full container loads individually and rely on consolidation to remain competitive. Cargo to come in groupage is consolidation, it's legitimate, and we can't ban it. What we have banned, or what we have stopped, is the use of container leaders. Now, Fiona, the good news I have for you is that among the new tax proposals,
now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887 and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Tune in to UBC News Tonight every Monday and Wednesday for expert insights and clear explanations. Booza Commissioner.
The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods.